Yeah, yeah. Had them long nights, eyes red, hands shaking. Still I stay, still I pray. Now the ground feel like it's brazen. Used to count change for the bus ride. Rain in my shoes, cold shut eyes. Had to talk faith when the hope died. Hard on the floor, but I still try. Mama in the kitchen with the light low, telling me to keep my mind on the high road. Every little tear was a time code, stamped in my soul like a barcode. Days of pain, I pray, put the work and never strayed. Every note that I face, built the armor that I wear today. Now I rise up, I'm victorious. All that hurt in my story turned glorious. Better days, I can feel them in my chest right here. Sacrificed so much just to stand right here. Now I'm here, I'm victorious, glorious. Glorious. Life is glorious, yeah. Used to feel small in a big crowd. Voice real soft, dreams real loud. Had to dig deep when the doubt screamed. Standing in the dark with a wild dream. Friends fell off when the road bent. Still I moved on with a broke sin. Every setback was a token, proof that the line hadn't closed yet. I overcame what they said I'd be. Turned every chain to a memory. Now when I look back, that old me, just a shadow trying not to end. Varia, now I rise up, I'm victorious.
We will be starting in approximately 1 minute.
Better days, I can feel them in my chest right here. Sacrificed so much just to stand right here. Now I'm here, I'm victorious, glorious. I bled for this, I wept for this. Lost sleep, lost time, lost innocence. But I live for this, yeah, I live for this. Every scar on my skin is my evidence. I overcame. They try to break me, but I still came back stronger in my own name. Now I rise up, I'm victorious. All that hurt in my story turned glorious. Better days, I can feel them in my chest right here. Sacrificed so much just to stand right here. Now I'm here, I'm victorious, glorious.
What's going on? Snap it up and clap it up for yourself. If you are victorious, you are glorious. You are the best of the best, the top of the top, the cream of the crop. If that is you, go ahead and put the trophy emoji in the chat. If you are watching on Instagram, go ahead and put the trophy emoji in the chat. If you are on YouTube, put the trophy emoji in the chat. If you are on Zoom, go ahead and put the trophy emoji in the chat. If you are on Zoom and Instagram, we will be able to bring you up. If you are on YouTube watching, unfortunately, we cannot bring you up. So if you would like to come up and share at some point, come to the Zoom or come to the Instagram. With that being said, we are getting started today. Peace, love, and beautiful energy to each and every one of you. You could be somewhere else, but you decided to be here. In this session, it's all about growth. It's all about clarity and direction. We understand that without clarity, you don't have the movement you want. You have what we call confusion. Anytime there is some sort of confusion, there isn't any movement. Makes sense? Let us know in the chat if it makes sense. Let us know in the chat if it makes sense. If you know someone that could be on this call, go ahead and invite them, get on this call. If you think someone could benefit from having clarity and having direction, maybe they've already spoken with you and they told you, hey, look, right now I have a problem making this decision in my life. Invite them, send this live out, tell them to come on. We want to continue to build a community of love, connectivity, and financial prosperity. My name is Sean Crewmate, and I develop systems for both personal and professional development. It's all about growth, about becoming more effective in less time. So the systems are going to help you have more opportunities to create more cash flow, opportunities to purchase businesses, to build what we will call streams of cash or cash flow streams, and then also be able to connect to people authentically and creatively where you are that shining star of your life. So as we get started, we want to recap a little bit what we did last week. Last week, we were going through renovate, innovate, collaborate. The renovate, innovate, collaborate method is a method that we use to know our next steps. I'm not the only one who used this. I discovered this method by watching other businesses operate their businesses. And one of the business models that I love to show this um, ideology on or ideology through is Netflix or Uber, Amazon, Google, the top businesses, right? So that way you get the understanding of it. But this is a method that you can use for yourself, no matter which level of life you're at. So I want you to go ahead and put some goals in the chat for yourself. What are some goals you have this year, this month, this quarter, whatever it is? Go ahead and put it into the chat. It may be financial goals. Um, it may be just executional goals. It just may be relationship goals. Whatever the goals may be, go ahead and put that in the chat for yourself. Go ahead and put that in the chat for yourself. As you know, everything that we do is backed by neuroscience. Why? Because we want to have a way to measure. We want to have a way to understand, a way to overstand, a way to pretty much get clear on what it is that we're doing, whether it's consciously or subconsciously. Make sense? Make sense? Let me know. So go ahead and put your goals in the chat. When you write it down, what ends up happening is you're helping yourself bring it closer to your reality because every letter you're thinking, that's intention. Every word that you spell out, that's intention. We want to be as intentional as possible. I know it sounds cliche and I know it sounds like stuff you heard already. I get it. The purpose of this work is not to listen to it and go, well, I heard it. It's not class. This is reinforcement. This is you taking a practice, you actually doing it, you stepping into it. That's what this is. So the call is being able to merge and bridge the gap between the people from who you want in your life and who you don't want in your life, right? So you have to bridge that gap. And then how do you bridge that gap? How do you get to the space where you truly want to be, where you're eating the food you want that serves you at your highest level? You're having the conversations that you need that serves you at the highest level. You are having the habits that you need to get to that next level that serves you at that highest level. This is all about alignment. Somebody put alignment in the chat, please. Go ahead and put alignment in the chat. So in that first part of the renovate, innovate, collaborate, we're going to use the let's use the Uber example, and then let's go into that of how it breaks down to you can use it as well in your everyday life. So when you look at innovate, well, renovate, innovate, collaborate, I want you to think about what exactly are we saying here. First of all, there's some sort of order. So if you could go ahead and write order in the chat. Your job is to create order out of chaos. It's not to seek order. I know a lot of us, we want peace. When the kids are yelling, the kids in the background, they talking too much, or you might be in a relationship is not going the way you want it to. I get it because we have expectations. And with these expectations, we create our own demise. And I'm just telling it like this. If I can be honest and real, let me know in the chat because that's all I want to do. If we are creating these expectations, most of the times we're creating our own downfall, our own circumstances. We're victims of our own circumstances. Like there's no one holding you to a fire to do a certain activity. Most of us are just doing these things because we feel like this is what we would love to do, or this is in alignment. A lot of times, the things that you want to do may not be the things that you need to do. You might not want to hear this. I know I might get a little passionate today because right after this session, I have to go work out, play some basketball, and get back into that swing of things. And I want to be so blunt with you all. I want to be so honest and straightforward and direct that when you walk away from here, you have clarity and direction. If that makes sense, but makes sense in the chat. So right now, what we have written down is alignment and order, right? Your job is to make order out of chaos. This man comes into your life, he's not supposed to be perfect. This woman comes into your life, she's not supposed to be perfect. Your role is not to fix the person. Your job is not to change someone or transform. That's not your job. Your job is to make order out of chaos. Who's creating the chaos? Who's creating the chaos? So a lot of times we get bent out of shape about the person that we chose. We chose that person. Oh, he ain't nothing. Oh, she this. You chose that person. How come you didn't see that? Oh, well, because people always lie. They bring their representative. Okay. Maybe you were bringing your representative as well. Maybe you were bringing that representative on that first date. Maybe you were saying to yourself, hey, look, I can't be my authentic self yet until I know that you are the person that you say you are. That kind of sounds backwards. And that's the way that we live. We live in a way where we're trained to be against what's for us and for what's against us. So you might not want to tell this man that you're engaged with. You might say, I'm not saying engagement and ring, I'm saying engaged in conversation and pursuing. And you might say, I don't want to tell him everything that I would like because then now he's just gonna act like that. Well, what do you want him to act like? Like what is it that you do want him to act like? And it's not about him, it's about you. You never get to experience the other person. You only get to experience yourself with the other person. So why not make order out of that chaos? Why not tell the person what you want and what you don't want? Why not tell them what you like? Why not? Because you're training that person to be with you anyway. So what you might do is what we call a form of self-sabotage. Before I go any further, are we following? Are we tracking? Let me know because sometimes, I might go down this hole too much. I might have to reel it back in. So if I go too far and you kind of got lost out there in the ocean, hey, throw that line out there and say, hey, can you reel it back in for me? Right? Just so we all are on one accord here. All right, let me know. Let me know. So when you're thinking about these relationships, so you're thinking about these people that you have had these expectations on, or you're thinking about how, oh, you want everything to work out perfectly. It's not going to. You have to be the person that creates the order out of the chaos. And the way that you're going to do that is by being explicit with what you want. Tell me right now in the chat something you don't want. Just go off. Just start going off. Oh, you can put one word in there. You can put 2 words, 3 words. I don't care. Right now, we're just doing what we don't want. You can just flood it up. Flood it up. Right, go ahead. What don't you want in your life? What do you want less of? Come on, put it in the chat. Victorious at foolishness. I know you come from the old school call. Stop that foolishness. But what is foolishness, right? Like get into that explicit. Keep going. Right. And authenticity. What else don't you want? What do you want less of? This is big right here. This is huge. What do you want less of? Everyone who's on YouTube, I'm not seeing the comments come through on YouTube yet. Go ahead and put some stuff in the chat. Feel free, feel comfortable because this is us. We're building a community of love, connectivity, financial prosperity. We want to be clear on everything that we're doing, the people that we are associated with. So even when you're in this room virtually, you should be doing the work that's helping you get clearer and helping you get closer to your goals. So you might not want to type in on chat. You might be driving or whatever. If you can, do it. Okay, do it. All right. What don't you want? Let us know in the chat. What don't you want? What do you want less of in your life? Drama and lies, right? Keep going, keep going. Don't stop. Don't stop. Keep going. The reason why I'm having you do this exercise is because how often do you do this? How often do you do a brain dump on what it is that you don't want on virtual or just writing it down? It's usually just in your mind, but you can't do a brain dump in your mind. Think about it. If you're in water, you scoop up water in your bucket, and then you toss the water over your shoulders, but you're immersed in water. Where does the water go? Right back into where you are. So if you have these thoughts in your mind about where you don't want to be, what you don't want to have in your life, but you're only dumping it in your mind, then it stays there and you keep seeing more of what you don't want. Make sense? You see more of what you don't want. But in order to get that out of your life, you must put it into a different environment. So if I'm taking that same bucket of water, now I'm dumping it over there by the sand. Now that's taking it away from the ocean. Makes sense? That's exactly how you want to see your mindset. That's how you want to see with the things that don't serve you at this point in time. Because a lot of us are still doing things that don't serve us. If it does not serve you, you must let it go. It's hard to let certain things go. Let it go. So come on, one more minute, one more minute, one more minute. In fact, to give you some inspiration, let's put the tunes back on. You got 1 minute. I want you to brain dump as much as you can of what you don't want in your life, what no longer serves you. I want you to dump it all out. I'm gonna put 1 minute on the clock and let's go. 1 minute. 1 minute on the clock.
Yeah, yeah.
Dump it out.
Had
Come on,
them
let's go.
long
Dump it
nights,
out. What don't you want to see in your
eyes
life?
red, hands shaking. Still I stay, still I pray. Now the ground feel like it's raising. Used to count change for the bus ride.
What don't you want
Rain in my
to see in your
shoes,
life?
cold shut eyes. Had to talk faith when the hope died. Hard on the floor, but I
Got
still
30
try.
seconds left. 30
Mama
seconds
in the
left.
kitchen with the light low, telling me to keep my mind on the high road. Every little tear was a time code, stamped in my soul like a barcode. There days of pain, I pray,
15
put
seconds.
the work
15
and
seconds.
never strayed. Every no that I face, built the armor that I wear today. Now I rise up, I'm victorious. All that hurt in my story turned glorious.
Thank you.
Better days, I can feel them in my chest right here. Sacrifice so much just to stand right here. Now I'm here, I'm here, I'm victorious, glorious.
Okay. So, with that being said, I want you to take a look at your participation in your own life. I want you to take a look at that. Look at your participation in your own life. I know we might be on a virtual call. I know you might be doing things. I just want you to pay attention to your participation. A lot of times we get opportunities, but we're not present to the opportunities. We're mainly present to the lack of the opportunities. Okay. Now, in this same sense, we ask you, say, hey, write down, dump it out. I want you to be honest with me. Did you find it more difficult to write it out versus dumping it out in your mind like you normally do? Like, because you could rattle it off in your mind, right? Like you normally do. Hey, I don't like this. I don't like that. But when it comes to writing it down, was it harder? Let me know in the chat before we move to the next part. Let me know in the chat before we move to the next part. Let me know in the chat before we move to the next part. Was it harder? Someone said no. Someone said yes. What else? Come on, let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Was it harder or was it easier? Let me know. Okay. So one of the reasons why it's hard for us to dump it out because we have what we call scattered brain. So as you're looking for it, it's everywhere. As you're looking for it, it's all over the place. Remember we talked about making order? So a lot of times this is what happens when we have scatterbrain. This is how you're going to know that you actually deal with the scatterbrain. If you walk into a room and you forgot what you came into that room for. If you said that, oh yeah, I'm not going to do this again, and then later on you kind of forget that you said that, and then next thing you know, you did it again. Scattered, right? So why is that important? Why is that important to fix or to shape up? Why would that be important? Well, it's important for a number of reasons because if we're not organized to the point where we are doing things that's in alignment, what happens is we are less efficient. So if we're less efficient because we're scattered looking for things, that means we're taking away from time that we could be applying to other things that could be moving the needle forward. So therefore, we might look at it like, oh, I don't have enough time. Okay, let's make it make sense in the easiest way to make it make sense. We all have the same 24 hours. We all have the same 24 hours. You can make $100 in an hour or you can make $10 in an hour. You are choosing where you want to be right now, whether it's that $100 an hour or whether it's a $10 an hour. You are choosing that. How are you choosing that? You're choosing that based upon whether you are organized, whether you are being diligent with your, well, not diligent, but are you being aware of your skill sets, right? Because you probably have a skill set that could pay you higher, but you're settling for that $10 an hour versus the $100 an hour. Where are you doing that at in your life right now? Where are you doing that? Where you're settled for the $10 an hour versus going for the $100 an hour? That equivalent is the same thing as not being effective with our time as we could be. Think about it. There's things that you are doing right now in your life right now. Literally right now, there's things that you are doing that you think that you're being effective with that, but if you was to examine it, you will see that that's actually taken away from where you want to be. I want you to list that, right? I want you to list it. Some of you already did when you said no drama. You didn't want any drama. You didn't want, somebody also said haterism over on Instagram. They said negativity. So I want you to think about these things. You already know what you don't want, but if you don't write it down, guess what? It just keeps coming back around, coming back around, coming back around. Now, the opposite is true too. So you already know what you want, but if you don't write it down, you still keep seeing the same things. You don't see what you want more of, right? You see what you want less of. Now I want you to declare what you want more of, and then we'll bring everything together. I want you to declare, what do you want more of in your life? So let's go ahead and let's put some music back on. And I want you to say what you declare for what you really want in your life.
Yeah, felt the weight, now
Yeah,
I
1
lift
minute on the clock.
from the
Don't
mud to
worry
the
about
summit.
making a whole sentence.
Feel
Just
me?
put what you want more of in
Yeah,
your life.
climbed out the pit,
Love,
dirt still on my skin.
connection, money,
Turned every other a lesson,
freedom,
that's how you begin.
flexibility,
Losses taught me
health,
the angles, how to
whatever it
light
is,
bends. Now
put it
I'm a
in the
prism,
chat.
shining for the world to transcend. Pressure
You
made
got 1
diamonds, my
minute.
flaws now glisten. Every crack in the armor, a story that's risen. Had to break bread with the hunger within. Now I'm stacking blessings, let the feast begin. Had to lose, had to bruise to sharpen my truth. Had to
You
fall,
got
had to
30
crawl to
seconds
lace
left.
up these boots. Now the drum line pounds, the rhythms
Run it up.
alive.
Really
Feel the
put it in
pulse
the
of the
chat.
struggle,
Really
is how
put it
we
in the chat.
survive. From pain to power, watch the phoenix rise. Flames in my chest, got the fire inside. Building bridges, not walls. Let the love multiply. Yeah. From pain to power, now we touch the sky.
Go ahead, put it in the chat. Let us know what it is that you want. Go ahead.
From pain to power, now we touch the sky.
All right. So that was a minute. So I want you to think about this, right? Whatever your level of participation is, that's part of like how your life is. And I'm not saying just because you're on this call, get off the call if you can't participate. I'm not saying that. I'm saying pay attention, because sometimes your opportunities are going to be given to you in situations in which you think that it's not here right now. In other words, you're never going to know when the opportunity is going to present itself. So you must be prepared for the opportunity. Preparation and opportunity, that creates luck, right? That's when we say, oh, that person got lucky. No, that person was prepared, because when that moment was coming, that person was ready to seize the moment. So the same thing how we spoke about with the expectations that you might have onto other people. You might have expectations on other people to serve up, but guess what? They may not show up and they may not present themselves and match your expectations. So we don't need to be focused on the things we can't control. We want to focus on the things that we can control, which is what we can set as far as standards for ourselves. Why is that? Because if we set the standard for ourselves, guess what? The opportunity just rolls right into us. Okay. So it makes sense in business. It makes sense in relationships, because businesses are relationships. Relationships are about business, whether you believe it or not. You can't be the only one giving. You have to also give. It has to be both. Give and take. Okay. Give and take. So if you're writing this stuff down, you're saying to yourself, this is what I want more of. Guess what? You're going to start to see it. Everyone knows about that red car effect, right? Everyone knows about the red car effect. Everyone knows about the red car effect. Like, it was a study that once they saw these red cars, you could do it with your own car. You've probably done it with your own car. But once you saw the red car run on the road, you can't unsee it now. Now you see red cars everywhere, right? So think about your own car. When you first got your own car, you probably didn't see that car everywhere. But once you got your car, you started noticing your car everywhere, right? So it's the same thing. If you're not writing down what you want from your reality, what you want to manifest in your reality, guess what? you're probably not going to see it. But if you write it down, you start to think about it, you're going to be able to attract it because you're going to be aware of the opportunities when it comes. So now I'm saying all of that to get to the renovate, innovate, collaborate method. Somebody put that in the chat. Renovate, innovate, collaborate. So with the renovate, innovate, collaborate method, what happens is this. You're going to take what you already have. You don't have to recreate the wheel. You don't have to reinvent, or you don't have to invent something new. But you do have to add your own twists and spins to it. But you have to know what you're looking for, or you might miss the opportunity. Why? Somebody might tell you, hey, look, this is not the right opportunity. Don't do this. You might have friends that encourage you not to do what you said you want to do. That idea sounds silly. Don't do it. That's too much. That won't work. I'm telling you right now, if you are going to make it work, you're going to have to be able to see your vision even when no one else does. That's why what we're saying right now is so important. That's why you writing this down is so important, right? So when you think about the renovate, innovate, collaborate method, you look at Uber. Uber renovated which industry? Uber renovated which industry? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Uber renovated which industry? Uber renovated the taxi transportation industry. Okay, what are you saying here? Well, they didn't invent the taxi transportation service. They renovated it, right? They added their own twist on it. So this is how it works. Same thing in your life. You don't have to start over from scratch. You already have a foundation. So they took the foundation of taxi, limousine service. And they said, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that instead of you having to go outside and put your thumb out on the street and make sure you can track down a taxi, instead of having the taxi pull up to you and the taxi goes, hey, where you going? And you say Brooklyn and they speed off on you. Instead of having you as the taxi driver and you drive your passenger off and they run off and don't pay you, instead of having all of that, they renovated it. Let's put it all in an app. Let's have the taxis come to you instead of you having to go to the taxi. And if you're the driver, let's have the passenger pay you up front. So that way you don't have to worry about that. And then they innovated it. How did they innovate it? Well, they innovated it by making it accessible to all of anywhere in any vicinity, right? And the drivers can go anywhere. What they did was they said, you know what? We're not even going to have our own fleet of cars. We're going to do what? What's the next part? Renovate, innovate, collaborate. What's the next part? Collaborate. What we're going to do is collaborate with the everyday person who already has their cars. Uh-oh. I'm getting ready to show you. Your genius is getting ready to pop. You're a genius because look at what they did. They didn't make a new model. They didn't change the game in a way. They didn't actually change the game at all. They changed how they played the game. They changed how the game was played. That's what we need to be doing. How is the game being played right now? We look at the rules of the game. The passenger needs a reliable transportation service. The transportation manager, the person who's driving the vehicle, needs passengers to drop them along the route. What do we already have? We have phones, we have GPS. Let's combine and use what we already have to connect the two to make it work for both parties. What do you have already in your life that can be useful to someone else? What do you have already that can be useful to someone else? If you figure this out and you're solving a problem, you are going to solve all of your problems. Instead of making $10 an hour, you're going to make $100 an hour. So let's make sure we can see. Let's open up our minds and see the clarity in how we get from $10 an hour to $100 an hour. So let's just say in this scenario, who would be spending the $10 in that hour? Who would be making the $10 in that hour? And who would be making the $100 in that hour? Can anyone see just by the model, just by understanding what Uber just did? They renovate it, innovate it, collaborate. They say, hey, you know what? We're gonna bring the driver to you, but we're also gonna bring the passenger to you. You don't have to worry about it. It's on the app. All you do is click the app, and you can find your passenger, you can find your driver. You already have security and protection built in. You don't have to worry if you're a woman. You don't have to worry about the driver dropping you down some weird way. Hey, it's on the map. You both can see it. We're all watching it. So they're going to take you to the right place. Same thing, vice versa, but for the driver. You don't have to worry about the person jumping out the car on you. They're going to pay you. It's already paid for. Don't worry. Just take them to the destination. They collaborated with the everyday person. No vehicles. Didn't have their own fleet. All they did was be what? The middleman. Okay, now let's make it make sense now. Who is the person that's spending the $10? Who's the person that's making $10 in that hour? And who's the person that creates the $100 in that hour? Come on, we need some clarity and some direction here. Someone help me out. Raise your virtual hand if you are on Zoom. Send a request to come up if you are on Instagram. Unfortunately, if you're on YouTube, you only can watch and write in the comments. Okay. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Are we not clear? Maybe my direction wasn't clear. Who's making what? So who's spending $10 basically for the hour? Who's earning the $10 an hour? And who's earning the $100 an hour? We want to get clear on this because the motto is renovate, innovate, collaborate for any business. If you want to take your business to the next level, you must look at the industry, renovate what's going on in that industry, be able to innovate it, put your own twist, your own spin on it, and collaborate with people who are already doing these things, who are already moving forward. So I want to see if you all are paying attention because, as I mentioned, the opportunities present themselves to you, but you have to be open to seeing it because they're not just going to appear in your lap. You have to be on the watch, on the lookout. So who's spending the $10 an hour? Who's earning the $10 an hour? And who's making $100 an hour? So far, somebody said the passenger is spending the $10 an hour. Right. Well, make it make sense to me, Trinell. Make it make sense to me. Break it down so I can see it very clearly. I mean, I don't understand. Like, I don't know. Some of y'all probably can hear the dog walking. It's a weird thing because I was sitting here, I'm working all day, doesn't do this. As soon as I'm talking to people, does that. So I'm confused. Like, what's going on here? Hey, buddy, can you just sit for a little bit? Thank you. I'll bring the dog up in a little bit, but it just kind of baffles me every time he does that. It's like it's just like children. They know exactly when to be in a position when they shouldn't be in that position. I don't like you know exactly where. But anyway, all right, cool. So let's make it make sense. So we need to be able to increase our income, right? Like think about it. You have an opportunity right now, whatever money that you're making right now. Let's just say that that is the $10 an hour. You're making it. At least you're making it and not spending it. You're making it, right? So now how do we go from $10 an hour to $100 an hour? So I like Rebecca's on it because she sees it already. She said Uber makes the $100 an hour, the driver makes the $10 an hour, the passenger spends the $10 an hour, right? We see that? Can we clearly see that? So the industry that they are renovating, innovating, collaborating with is the taxi limousine service industry, transportation industry. All they did was just use what they already had in a way that people aren't using it at the moment that solved a problem. What do you have right now that somebody else needs? That if you use the renovate, innovate, collaborate method, you could be the one making $100 an hour. So if you're not paying attention, here's the clue. If you are the orchestrator, see, there's the executor, and let's make it in steps. There's the executor, there's the integrator, there's the orchestrator, there's the visionary. You see that? If you're only getting paid to execute, chances are you probably make good money, but you're only making X amount of dollars. right? If you would love to make more, what should you be doing? You should be finding a way to integrate, finding a way to be a unifier, a manager, someone who could bring people together. The next level after that is the integrator, right? So I mean, that same level is that's the integrator. You want to be able to make sure you are that manager, make sure you are the person that could bring people together. That's important. You have to bring people together if you want to get to another level of payment and another level of connection. The same way you're going to collect money, same way you collect friends. The same way you're going to buy businesses, the same way you do it, where you're buying your opportunities. It's all the same. All of it's the same. It's the same thing. Whether it's a connection that you're building with the relationship, whether it's you moving up in your corporate world, whether it's you acquiring a new business as an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter. You're in the business of acquisitions. Someone put acquisition in the chat. You're in the business of acquisitions. You're in the business of acquisitions. So the first thing you must acquire is a way to renovate what is already here. Next thing you must acquire is a way to innovate what's already there. Next thing you must acquire after that is a way to collaborate. With these three steps, all you do is recycle these three steps. Now, let's show you. Let's show you the same exact way with Netflix. Okay. So, Netflix renovated which industry? Netflix renovated which industry? Be specific so that way you can be prolific. Which industry? So, movie rental industry. Movie rental industry. Now they're in the industry of pay-per-view industry, but they transcended pay-per-view, right? So now it's not called pay-per-view anymore. It's called on demand. We've always had on demand. Like you can go to a live show on demand. You can go do that. Like there's a live Broadway show, you go do that on demand, right? Buy tickets, do it on demand. However, let's look at the model. They said, let's renovate the movie rental business. Who is the most dominant in the movie rental business? For what we know Blockbuster. Blockbuster is the movie rental business that we know. How does it work? Well, people go into the store, brick and mortar, and then you go ahead and you say, hey, look, I want this movie, I want that movie. And you pay per movie. You don't pay per view, but you pay per movie. You can take that movie home with you. Take that movie home with you. And then what? You can watch it as many times as you need to until that time you're supposed to bring it back. Snowstorms, hurricanes, whatever may happen. If you bring it back late, you still owe the fee. Okay, I could see the problem in this business. Now, could I also be the person that sees the solution in this business? Remember when we asked you, what do you want less of in your life? You easily saw that, right? I want less this, less drama, less that. Okay, can you also be the one that creates the solution? Can you also be the one that creates the solution? Yes or no? Put a yes or no in the chat. So, okay, if you can create the solution, what would the solutions be? So if I'm Netflix looking at it as like looking at Blockbuster and seeing, okay, let's renovate this. Instead of having to have the customers come to me and bring back the DVDs and bring back the VHSs, and if they don't bring back the VHSs, rewind it all the way from the beginning, I got to charge them. Now I'm creating more headaches for myself. Even though I think I'm making more upside on money, I now have to hire a person to go and rewind the tapes because people make so much money. They don't care. Hey, I'm just bringing it back. Y'all rewind it. Y'all could charge me the fee for my convenience. So they thought they were making a upsell, but they was making a headache. Netflix said, let's get rid of that. Instead of having to have you come to me, I'm going to take all the movies and I'm going to bring them to you. The customer's like, ooh, tell me more. I like that. Well, you know what else I'm going to do for you, customer? This is what else I'm going to do for you. Instead of you having to rent each movie, guess what we're going to do for you? You can have all the movies you want for one low rate. That's a game changer. You see, if you look at the two models, right? Like Blockbuster was literally looking at, okay, how do I keep upcharging? How do I keep doing this? How do I keep taking it to another level? It was good business model, but every solution could also be a problem, and every problem could also be a solution, right? Think about it this way. If Blockbuster came out with a new way, well, they did. What they did was they had DVDs, and but anyway, I'm not gonna get too much into that. But so I'm sticking on Netflix right now. So Netflix, they said, okay, look, we have this idea. What we're gonna do is we're gonna give access to all of our catalog for one price. Blockbuster's looking at that like, nah, I don't know. That doesn't make sense. We shouldn't do that. I'm not gonna do that. That doesn't make sense. Why would we give that to them all for free? That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. We need to make money on this, and they need to be able to rewind the stuff back when they bring it back. Or we charge them more. That's another way we get a fee. Netflix is like, look, I'm telling you like this. The fastest way for you to make the money is to just give them what they want. They want all of these movies. Just give it to them. See, the key thing about it is that they don't get to keep it, they just get to borrow it. Start to scratch my head again. Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me Uber had a big business without owning any fleets? And Netflix is about to be super huge by not having any store or any physical anything? How would that work? Right? That's Blockbuster. Blockbuster's thinking like, nah, that's not gonna work. I'm not in it. I'm not in it. I'm not in it. And what happens with Blockbuster, they stayed the same and they got what? More of what they don't want. They stayed the same and got more of what they don't want. Less clients, less clients, less clients, closing down stores, closing down stores. Before you know it, boom, what happens? Out of business. Okay, let's make it make sense again. So Netflix is saying, let's renovate, innovate, collaborate. Forget about everything that Blockbuster is doing. We're going to do it differently. What we're going to renovate on is we're going to bring all of the movies and TV shows to this client. They don't have to worry about going for it, get it at the convenience of their home. And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to make sure it's on demand for one low rate. They can have it every day. So they lease it every 30 days. They leasing it every 30 days. If they stop paying, they don't get any access to any of them. Cool. They collaborated with who? YouTubers. When YouTubers was first making the YouTube videos, and then what? They started buying uh, older shows, right? They started licensing older shows. So okay, cool. Let's now make it make sense again with numbers. So the client is spending $9.99 to get access to a whole library of movies and TV shows. The person who acted in these TV shows and movies are getting royalties because they're, got bought licenses by Netflix. So they're getting $10 an hour or $10 every time it's played. But Netflix is making the $100 an hour. Okay, are y'all seeing what I'm seeing? Maybe not. So now I'm gonna say it explicitly. If you are the one that's the visionary and you're orchestrating moving the pieces around for others to execute on, that is where you make the most money. Did anybody pick that up? Renovate, innovate, collaborate. You don't even need to own any movies. Netflix didn't own any movie theaters. They didn't own any of that. They leased it all out. They were the middle person. They were the orchestrator. Someone put orchestrator in the chat. So we have alignment, we have organization, and we have orchestration, right? You must be the person that has the alignment. What's that vision? Where do I need to go? Who do I need in my life? Let me organize all of this stuff. And then now let me be the orchestrator to make sure these things work. The issue is we don't want it. We don't want to be the orchestrator. We don't want to deal with all the work. We don't want to be the one that has all the responsibility. We just want the lifestyle of the orchestrator without the responsibility of it. We just want $100,000 with minimum work. See, it's not about the work. It's about the system. Because you're still going to have to work. No matter how you're looking at this, you're still going to have to work. Now, do you want to work that same hour and only make $10? Or would you like to work that same hour and make $100? That is where your choice is at. You see the difference? It's not about the work. It's the choice in which reward you would rather have. I'm not saying use this in a devious way where it's like, oh, I get it by any means. I'm not saying that. I'm saying make your decisions a lot easier by looking at the bottom line of what it is that you want. But if you don't know what you want, how could you make this type of decision? Because let's be real here. Some of us right now already are working for the $10 an hour. It may not be $10. You may be making 20, you may be making 30, 40, 50, but it's still not as much of what you would want. Put how much you want to collect in the chat. Let me know how much you want to collect in the chat. And if you would like to come up and share, send a request to come up and share. If you'd like to come up and share, send a request to come up and share. Because we get ready to close up in 15 minutes. So we need to have clarity on it. What do we need to have clarity on? Okay. How do I get to my goal the fastest? How do I get to my goal the fastest? Which choice is going to help me get to my goal the fastest? That's what we're looking at. See, Blockbuster, they wasn't thinking long term. They were thinking short term. Why would I give up all of these movies for free? Why would I do that and just only charge them for the price of one movie? That doesn't make sense. Yeah, because what you think doesn't make sense is because you're computing with your own data that you've already collected and not the data that you should be searching for. The data showed us that things are going into a streaming lifestyle. The data showed us that things are going more online. But you want to pick a business that's more offline, where you have to do more manual work, where the tools that you're using is a little bit outdated from someone else who you're competing with, and you might not even realize that you're competing with some of the top, the best of the best, the big dogs. What do you need to acquire? What do you need to acquire? Remember, this is about business acquisition here. I need to acquire a partner who's competent, who can help me think. I need to acquire a partner who can help me think bigger than what I'm thinking right now. I need to acquire a business model that's going to allow me to have more freedom and flexibility. I need to acquire a tool that's going to make my job easier and less redundant. I could put it on automation. I need to acquire these tools. These are businesses. It's business acquisition, but it's the way that you're seeing it. You have to see it differently. Netflix saw it differently. I'm going to make way more money on volume. Why? Because I'm selling in the cloud. That means somebody in Africa can purchase something that I'm offering because I sell it in the cloud. Blockbuster was just thinking about the brick and mortar. That's why their mind was so small. They could have easily, they already had the clientele. They could have easily blown it up and put it online and put it in the cloud. They was the first ones to do it. They could have done it. Tell me if I'm making this up. Tell me if I'm making this up. If I'm lying, I'm dying right now. They could have done it. So you don't want to be the same person where you could have done something. In fact, we all got this idea, right? That we see happen on TV or somewhere in like, damn, I thought about that. I should have done it. Well, you had the opportunity to do it before anyone else did it. But what did you do with it? Maybe that time is right now. Maybe you have this idea that you have in your mind right now, but you're playing around with your potential. You're sitting on these ideas. What is happening right now? What do you need to acquire in order to put yourself up higher? See, but you know what stops us from getting to that next level? The fact that we're going to lose money. The fact that you're going to lose money because your mindset is seeing it as losing money. Blockbuster was seeing it as losing money. Hey, I'm going to lose money. If you have any questions and you're inside the chat, you got to come up and share and elaborate on your question. So raise your virtual hand, come up and ask the question. If you're on the Instagram, you have a question, you want to elaborate on a question, send the invite. Who's that? Tracy? What's up, Tracy? What's your question?
So I wanted to get a little bit more information because it seems like the step particularly for myself, is really going from the integrator, which is the management, to the visionary. Because in your example for Blockbuster, Blockbuster was an industry leader, and they maybe didn't pivot soon enough. And was that the issue? For me, I am working with, say, for example, using in trying to incorporate AI solutions. So for me, in my coaching, that is pivoting, right? But for some reason, the going from the integrator to the visionary to making it um, where I can feel it in my pocket has not manifested yet. So where am I not making that connection? And am I like the Blockbuster where I'm industry leader, but not making the next step so I can get to uh, manifestation into my pocket?
Right. So I love the question. Now you're gonna have to let it unpack, right?
Right.
So when you think about the Blockbuster, Blockbuster knew what they didn't want and they knew what they wanted. However, they were reluctant to move forward for what the client wanted because it would give up something that they wanted. And I know that sounds like it's a conundrum, but that's how this works. You must be willing to give up something that you hold dearly in order to get something else that you hold dearly because you cannot hold them both. That's the reason why you have to give up one. So now we would have to turn the question to you. What are you holding on to that you're reluctant to give up?
So for me, like I said, I'm using and incorporating AI, which I think is inclusive on brand. My purpose is limitless growth. AI gives you the opportunity to incorporate that and to open up with using the large language models a lot. So I'm not sure what I need to be able to give up in order to be able to get to the next, because I'm looking for the clarity,
Mhm.
on this. So I must be missing something. It must be the mote in my eye that I can't see the bigger picture.
So it's not that you can't see the bigger picture, but in your language, you can hear that you're holding something. You need to identify what are you reluctant to giving up. So this is why we started out the session with what do you want more of in your life? What do you want less of? Because this is an exercise that we don't do on paper. So we don't really know what we're reluctant to give up until it happens to us. And then we're like thinking, we have like resistance. So in this realm of coaching, this realm of helping your clients, and you now have AI, you're willing to go into AI, but what are you not willing to do?
For me, I am now open and trying to be transparent. So for the universe, for all of it, right? And so my challenges right now are you to get the resources in order to be able to get to the next level, right? So I'm trying to be as open and as transparent. So I think if looking at trying to write grants and trying to, put these other things out there. And I even asked AI, and AI was basically like, pick a lane, sis. Pick a lane and focus. And I said, ouch, that hurts. Because I want to be limitless, right? So it said, pick a lane. So I said, okay, we're going to concentrate on this. My target audience is working primarily with women. And what my sweet spot is women of color, i.e., Black women. So I think that that's the lane. And now trying to identify women that have disposable income, enough of disposable income to be able to pay, and saying that they're out there in order to be able to do that. So that's the vision. So what am I willing to be able to give up? I'm working on
What are you reluctant to give up?
what am I reluctant to give up?
So you mentioned part of it. Part of it what you were reluctant to give up was the limitless part. That was part of it. Like, I don't want to be stuck in a box. I want to be limitless. I want everything. Just like Netflix, right? Netflix, doesn't have a target market because it's not about having a target market. Uber does not have a target market. It's not about having a target market. That's just some stuff people made up to get authority, but that's not a thing you need to know. What you need to know is how do you help them do whatever it is that you do. So for Netflix is I'm helping you watch your favorite TV shows and movies for one low rate on demand. I don't need to be a doctor. I don't need to be a lawyer. I could be anything and do that thing because I'm clear on exactly what that's going to allow me to do. They gave up the identity. Which identity are you still holding on to that's allowing you to stay that way, to stay stuck? It may be for you, it's not as clear, but all you have to do is look at what are you not willing to give up. For most people, it's money. Most people don't want to hire somebody else that's going to come in and help them grow. Why? Because they want the money for themselves. So yeah, I don't need that. So in other words, it turns into I'm gonna do everything myself. That's what it turns into. But you have to give up some control. So for you, what are you holding on to that you're reluctant to give up on?
So if I had it, I'd be able to give it up. Somebody says, is it money you got to invest? So I mean, like if I had it, I'd be able to willing to be able to give it up. So I will go back and put in some additional work because as I was getting the clarity to be able to say like, hey, AI said pick a lane, and I'm like, okay, pick a lane. And to build your team, everyone needs to have a team. That's the reason why I'm here. That's the reason why I'm here to find the community, the family that's going to help me get into the next level to do what I actually need to be able to do. And what I mean by like, I know limitless because I believe that God, I'm a spiritual person. So for me, God is abundance. And it's if you want to have the faith of a mustard seed, and I'm like, that's what it said. All it was going to take. I have to work on my unbelief, and I have to realize that God has the resources. And how do I get from point A to point B? And to go back to say that He has never forsaken me and He's never left me, and He's always, pointed the way. So I will go back and continue to work on what am I not willing to be able to give up. And I believe right now I'm open. Like I don't know if I told you and tell your audience and everybody else. I got a boyfriend position with possible promotion to husband, so I am open. I'm all out there. Y'all know when you talk Koreans, I'm open for that too. And I have not gone outside my, dated outside my race. So that should let you know I'm open. Because where can you find a tall Korean? Right? That's a unicorn. So now I am.
No, wait, hold on. We're in New York, got a lot of them. So just let you know, come to New York.
Okay, well, I'm in DC. I'm right here. So, but anyway, just being open. And so this 2026 is a year to be open, to look at the possibilities and to try new things and to really work with that. So I will come back the next time that you have, because I need to do some inner work because it's not something that you have to do right here. And the question really is what am I holding on to that I'm not willing to give up that's holding me stuck? So that is the question. And I will do some inner work and to hopefully be able to report back. This is what I found out.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Everyone send some love in the chat. Before we let you go, I want you to think about it. Most people's reluctancy is money because they will look at what they think they don't have, which is what we lack. We'll look at what we don't have, what we lack versus what we do have. Remember, we're not looking to we're not looking to invent something. We're looking to renovate. So even if you need to renovate the way that you're spending your money right now on other things, because for example, when we're all going through the struggle, we start to cut out certain activities that would eat into our income. All right, I'm not going out. First thing we say is, oh, no more going out. I'm not going out as much. I'm going to make more food at home. Like we start saying things like that. And then we start being cautious of where we're going. It's the same thing because all of the money is basically decision-making power. So if you decide to spend money here and that decision brings back more money and more power, then you get more money. You can't wait until you get more money to say, now I have more money. You have to spend the money on the thing that would give you more money. So that is the decision that we would have to look at if it's finances. If it's not finances and it's more just like you need to play every role because you just feel more comfortable. If you do it, then it would get done. If you don't do it, it won't get done. Then you have to look at that power dynamic and see, okay, wow, which things could I actually give up that I don't need so much control over? And then it's other things too, where it's like um, maybe you're good at executing and you need someone else to come through with the vision because we all have different archetypes, right? You may be a great executor. You may be the one that's the top of the class executor. Just because you're the top of the class executor doesn't mean you have the top of the class vision. So we can get that confused because you might get 100% on your test. And so you're at the top of the class, but you don't have the vision. Like the person could drop out of school and you look at him like a dropout, but no, that person has vision. Why would I stay in school? They're teaching me to be a worker. Why would I stay there if I know that's not what I want anyway? So it makes sense in whatever way you look at it. Now, for you, it's like which skill set do you feel the most enjoyment at? Visionary, orchestration, integration, or is it execution? Because any of those levels you can get paid top dollar. Like there's executives who get paid 300,000, 400,000, $500,000 a year, but they have to be bound by the clock a lot. That's not a problem for somebody who doesn't really care and wants to. I don't want to think about the vision. All I want to do is execute. I don't mind spending 40 hours a week executing, and I'm making $500,000 with that type of job. I'm quite sure I can probably have a month off throughout the year. I'm quite sure. So I'm cool with that. But then you think about it from this perspective. If you work there for about 4 years, you could quit. You could quit after 4 years. You could quit after 4 years, have a million saved up to start your own business, and you're good to go. So it really comes down to your level of perspective and how you're seeing your vision. This is why we said, okay, it's your job to make order out of chaos. It's your job to figure out what do you want in your life? What do you not want? What do you want? It's your job to say, okay, how do I now orchestrate all of these moving parts? So for what I want your homework to be going forward is to write down a list of where you see yourself, whether it's what type of food you're eating in the future, what type of places you're living at, or where you're living, what type of weather do you have, or what type of relationships do you have. I want you to write down all of that. And if you need a template for that, send me a text or message me, and then I'll send that over to you. Okay.
Okay. Because like I said, we getting it. And just to answer some of those questions, like, first of all, I do have control issues. So let's just be clear. That is a definite issue that I have. But being a visionary, seeing and being able to manifest, that's something that it's easy for me because I think differently and I look at things differently. But I will also send the text and work on writing it out so I have that clarity where I'm going to be at and what I'm going to be able to give up. But I definitely appreciate the pearls that you have dropped, the words of wisdom, for that. And I invite all my colleagues on the call the next time. Come on up. It doesn't hurt that bad.
Okay. So it doesn't hurt that bad. Here's the biggest takeaway I want you to take away from this. Because what I'm showing you through the business models of Uber and Netflix, you must be the orchestrator. You cannot be afraid to give up the control. Netflix didn't say, I need to make all the movies. No, they said, listen, license out people's work. Yeah, I might be in a little debt at this moment, but I'm going to license this out and I'm make more money on the back end. So you can have that up front. That's cool. Same thing with Uber. Uber didn't say, I need to go get all the taxis in the world and be the best taxi company. No, they said, if you already have a car, work for us. So your job is to get people who are like you, but who need you. People who are like you, but need you. Because there's a lot of people who want what you have, but they can't do it the way you do it. So the control that you have is because you know people can't do it the way you do it. Like you might tell your children, clean that bathroom on Saturdays, baby. They go clean the bathroom. You're like, I'm done, mom. You go in there and look. You're like, you can't. Yeah, I got to do it myself because this ain't it. And I get it because they can't. So that's a value add. So the Uber drivers are not looking at the person who created Uber and is jealous. They're happy and thankful because they wanted the freedom and flexibility to choose their own schedule and drive around when they want to, but they needed that person to create the thing for them. So there's people out there that really can fulfill your dream. But since you want to drive all the cars, that's a long line of people waiting for you to pick them up now. If you're the only one driving the Ubers, I'm sorry, Tracy, you're out of business same day.
Well, let me just do a PSA. Never been married, don't have any kids. So let me put it out there
He said, don't
for
tell
your
them I got
listening
children.
audience. Look, don't have any kids, never been married. So your listening audience, okay.
I'm making a flyer for Tracy. Tracy's hot and single. Okay,
Hello?
come test out the waters. Come fill that application out. Okay, send us the application template. We can send it to
Yes,
her.
that's what it is. But like I said, thank you so much, and I look forward to the next time for the Mindset Mondays. I appreciate all that. And there was something else I also wanted to do. Let me see if I can find it. Here it
Hopefully,
is.
while you find that, hopefully everyone else is picking up what I'm saying. Like the most important part of all of what I'm saying to you is that if you create the vision, there are other people to help you bring the vision to life. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not as easy as just being told what to do and then going to do it. Because now you have to be the one that's okay with telling people to do stuff and then be okay with the messing up. You have to be okay with that stuff and you have to handle that. This is where your customer service comes into to play. But this is where you're going to get the big bucks. Instead of the $10 an hour, you got the $100 an hour. But with great rewards come great responsibilities. So you found
You
the
have your
Tracy?
book nearby.
Do I have the book nearby?
Your book nearby.
Yeah, it's on my phone though, and my computer.
Well, no, I was actually going to show the audience because that's what I was actually looking for. I thought I had it right next to me because I also thought that that's another good piece that people can use in the interim to be able to work through some of the situations, to be able to provide that clarity, the motivation, and everything else. So if you don't have it, please go out. As I got mine on, I believe I got mine on Amazon. Um, and when I do see you, I'll get it signed. But that is one great way that we can continue to share and to grow, um, is be able to get the book.
Absolutely. And I want you all to put your biggest takeaway inside the Love Plus community room just from today. All right. And great job, Tracy. Great job. Snap it up, clap it up for Tracy. Great job. All right. So as we get ready to close, I want to leave you all with this message. Renovate, innovate, collaborate. All of the biggest businesses use this method. This is not just a method for businesses. This is a method for relationships. You might get into a relationship and you might think, okay, I need to have it my way. No, you don't need to have it your way. You need to have it in the best way possible for both parties. So you might have to compromise. In fact, let's change the language. You will have to compromise. It's part of it. You can't just go into the relationship with only your vision. You have to go into the relationship with their vision too. Netflix isn't forcing people to do anything. Uber isn't forcing drivers to drive. No, they have to acquiesce to what the drivers want a little bit too. Drivers want more pay. Okay, how can we get more pay? We have to figure out more ways. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go get advertisement dollars. So now we're going to partner with American Express. So now that they partner with American Express is now giving Uber $15 Uber points or 15 Uber dollars to all of the people who hold the Amazon Platinum card. I mean, not Amazon, American Express Platinum card. So this partnership gave them an influx of money so they can help out their drivers. So as I'm saying this to you, I'm telling you, everything that you want is out there. And whoever you need to help you succeed is out there. But if you have a closed mouth, you don't get fed and your dreams do not come to fruition. So don't think that you're less than. Don't think that you're not the best of the best. Don't think that you can't win. You can, but you have to use your decision-making power tools, your communication, your money, your communication, your money. Money is a tool used to generate more money. It's not just a tool you spend money on, right? It's used to make decisions, and your decisions help lead to the life that you currently have in this reality. So as you move forward, see yourself with the highest vision possible. If you know that's your weak suit, okay, look for somebody else who has a vision. That's why you have coaches, why you have mentors. It's why you have someone like me who can have vision, who can create a roadmap for you. You don't have to do it yourself when you have someone who specializes in creating systems for both personal and business growth. I've been doing this for over 6 years. You already know my clients are 6 and 7 figure earners. You already know because you've seen it, and that's how you've gotten to me through my clients. So you might not necessarily be my client. I realize that. So how do I serve other people at that level? Well, I give you things for you to help yourself. That's why I created the Love Plus platform. Use it. That's why I created Becoming More Effective in Less Time. Use it. That's why I have these apps. Use them for your benefit. And that's why I'm doing these lives for your benefit. Obviously, this is all free. So it must be for your benefit, right? So what I'm saying to you is think big, be big, do big, and you get big. It is what it is. At that, I am done for today. We are back next week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday with the Mindset Mondays. Don't forget, we do have Saturday Mindset Reset Networking. If you want to come and network with some people, maybe get a new client or maybe get a new business partner, you have that place. Even if you just want to chit chat and build up your collection of friends that you would love to meet in real life, then you still can do that as well. But nonetheless, we're looking for transformation. Everyone put transformation in the chat because that's what we're looking to do, transform and glow. So that way we can reach that next level of illumination. All right. So peace, love, beautiful energy. We're going to go out with some music. You are the best of the best, the top of the top, the cream of the crop. Believe that. See you next week. Actually, I'll see some of y'all tomorrow. So for those who I'll see next week, I'll see you next week. Let's go. Snap it up and clap it up. You did that. Come on. Next level is loaded. You might not be where you want to be, but you're right where you need to be. Let's go. You're not where you need to be, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.
I design days like a playbook page. Color code goals and I live that way. Intervals inbox, calendar sprints. Brain doing burpees, focus on 10%. Boardroom baseline, pivot on the glass. Quarter-hour drills, how I handle the pack. Treat every loss like film I can watch. Slow it down, frame by frame, reload. Business like sports, I train for this. Money, power, respect, that game I live. Hit that brainwave switch, then I'm locked in quick. From the ground to the peak, yeah, I built that brick. Business like sports, I bleed for this. Leadership, hustle in my callous fist. Hit that brainwave switch, watch the whole world flip. From a thought to a thing, I design that script. Neurons run laps when the doubt told loud. I reroute tracks, take a different route. Connectivity buzzing like a huddle at half. I pass vision out, then we all attach. Chest day meetings, leg day calls. Heavy decision, low reps, high cost. Still I stack habits like reps on a rack. Discipline deposit, interest comes back.
Who leads when it hurts? Who speaks when it's tense? Who shares every win? Who holds every L? I coach my own mind from the bench to the hill. Every thought is a drill. Every fear gets spelled.
FACE, racing, heart rate rise, but I still embrace it. Business like sports, I train for this. Money, power, respect, that game I live. Hit that brainwave switch, then I'm locked in quick. From the ground to the peak, yeah, I built that brick. Business like sports, I train for this. Money, power, respect, that game I live.